Welcome to that spiritual, actual, factual answers to questions you're asking. You find them inside you, recite you, reciting the records. Akashic, we laughing, we drafting the passion to vary. It's time for that comedy, dramedy, all of the fanciest, catchiest acronyms. Listeners, listen, we traveling. Consciousness is always unraveling. The reading you're having is mapping you back to your natural habitat. Abracadabra, it's magic, let's basking it. To top it off, the host, all the classiest. Now, what were you asking for? All of the answers? What? All the answers.
What was the next thing we said we were going to talk about? Because I really wanted to hear that.
Well, you wanted to know how I was feeling and how I was doing because you are so sick of yourself.
Oh, God in heaven. Lord, baby Jesus, may I never deal with me again. May I only hear about you and your life because I'll just say this. Like, it's been a 48 to 72 hours full of so many feelings. It's just been feeling city over here. Name a feeling. It's happened intensely many times, up, down, all around, up and down.
Arousal?
All of it.
Confusion?
Yep.
Wait. Ennui?
Oh, yeah. So much ennui.
Existential bleakness?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Joy?
Yes.
Ecstasy?
Yep.
Wow.
Twice.
Oh, hey. Okay. Wait, let me name a couple more feelings because this is a fun game for me. Have you felt...
Think more obvious.
Doubt?
Yes.
Confidence?
Yes.
Surety?
No.
Okay. Happy?
Yep.
Sad?
Yes. That's the big one.
Amused?
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprised?
Yes.
Shocked?
Repeatedly, both of those.
And finally, have you felt disgust?
Huh. I gotta say no.
Okay, good. We only found two that you hadn't felt. I can't remember what the other one was. But, surety and disgust were the two feelings of the list I gave you that you have not felt.
Yeah. Good job. That was a lot of feelings you listed.
And mostly you're kind of just sick of having feelings right now.
Like, I think that my general experience of being alive is more spacious and like just sort of space.
Mm-hmm.
And then choosing intensity experiences, going from one to the other that I choose, and having less relational, or I should say fewer relational dynamics that then activate straight up just feelings. But like I've had a lot of relational stuff, like man energy, different man energy, lady friend, fight, make up easy, good, huggy, cry, friends that are a couple that inspire me, cry, Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving, which was a trip and then a show and then somebody got hurt and then maybe the hospital, like all over the place. It's a really good story. I should tell that story.
Yeah, you've had a lot. I've had sort of the opposite. I feel pretty chill. Like there's a lot going on in everybody else's stories. But, I went up to my family, my mom and dad's for the Thanksgiving time. And my housemate, Carolina, went with me. And that was lovely. Just as a, change of pace for her stories. And also my parents were like, bring a friend. And I was like, hey, Kara, you want to go? And she was like, yeah, let's fucking do it. And we hang out there for 3 days. Here's the thing. My parents are amazing. So
yeah,
they're a thing for everybody. They're almost like they themselves are therapy. They're like family therapy for people who need to be like, oh, this is a different story than I'm used to, and that's not even to like get into other people's family business. Like everybody has a fucking family story, including me. Like my parents are who they are. That's fine. But it's neat to watch people. Like I always want people like, come along this time, come to this trip with me. And then we'll spend time with my parents and you'll have an amazing conversation with my dad about neuroplasticity and about my mom, about, the feelings of the planet or something will happen.
Yeah.
And I actually have less conversations with my parents when those people are there. Cause I'm like, I want to sit back and watch it happen.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So I think that
they're like a trip you take to an event.
It's true.
It's like we went to Woodstock or we went to Cassidy's house.
That's right. We went to Shasta and visited Cassidy's parents. Yeah. So that was, I don't know. I've got some auditions that I'm still on hold for and working through, and
Ooh, fun.
haven't gotten some things and still don't know about some things and have to record something today for another place. So I don't know.
Things are happening. You're living life, but it's in a chill zone.
Yeah, it's in a chill zone. There's not a lot of like pressure on me right now, and that feels good.
That's nice. That's really nice. I love that. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's quite literally the opposite over here. You want to hear our Wednesday night story before Thanksgiving?
Yeah, it sounds like a good story to be heard.
It's a thing. And you know what? I left my water in the other room. I don't do life very well. I'll be back.
Okay.
Okay. A lady has to stay hydrated. Some of us went down to St. Augustine, which is about an hour south of here. We do this Wednesday night show. They do it, and I'm on it sometimes. And we had this plan for a couple weeks to go down and do this show the night before Thanksgiving. And then any money we made on the show would go to paying for the hotel that we would rent and then have like a night of debauchery and hotel time. So we did that.
And the show is in St. Augustine. So your troupe goes down to a different location and does a Wednesday night show.
That's right. Yep. And they do it every week, but I don't choose to be on it every week. I schedule myself for it sometimes. And this was one I wanted to schedule because we knew we were going to do this night of fun timiness. So we go down and we do the show. We go back to the hotel. We each have like a drink. And then we're heading over to this bar. We go to this bar where the plan was to like go out and do all the things that young people do. And I was like, I think I can keep up with this, but probably not. And I already warned everyone. I'm like, by 11:30, I'll be done. And they were like, cool, we'll see you later. You know, whatever. Get to this bar. There's a guy hanging out near a popular bar. Lots of people, packed, music, fun times, good vibes, outdoor patio, fun. There's a guy with a saxophone around his neck. Okay. And I overheard him. He had like long, greasy black hair, and he was clearly not a saxophone player.
Oh, see, I was imagining the muscular guy from the Lost Boys who does the saxophone solo during the one scene, and he's all muscular and he's like humping the air.
Nah.
Not that guy? Okay.
This was greasier and lamer, and almost like this would be like a Dungeons and Dragons player
who just picked up a saxophone
and was like, girls like this.
Okay.
And we like overheard him saying to someone like, I don't really play it. I just like, I like it as a supplement or what did he say? As an ornament.
Oh, wow.
So we were like, oof. So we were kind of like far away from him, but making a lot of fun of it. Very much out of earshot. It was just a thing we noticed that was weird.
Yeah.
Like I had a joke running where I thought it would be funny if I went up to him and just started to fillet the top of the saxophone, looking him dead in the eyes and just being like, is this why you brought this here? Is this what you think women want? You know, like just giving him a lot of shit, right? Not to his face, far away.
Right. He was fuel for your amusement.
Yeah, indeed. So then we agreed it was time to leave at a certain point. We're like, okay, let's go. And one of us, our fearless leader, there's a couple that own the theater. Alex and Madeline are this couple that run the place, own the place, are great people. Sweet.
The place you were normally at or the place in St. Augustine?
Thank you. The theater that I perform at in Jacksonville. And they're like the head of the improv troupe and they're the head of the business and they run the theater and da-da-da. They're also the pro wrestlers.
Nope. Hadn't heard that part.
No, I hadn't said that before.
Nope. Didn't realize they were pro wrestlers or amateur pro-am wrestlers, small circuit pro wrestlers.
Small circuit pro wrestlers.
Love that.
Yes.
Oh my God. Have you gone to their show? Side story?
Well, I've seen them. If Vicky Dreamboat.
Okay.
Is words you could search
okay.
on a place. Like go to Instagram, Vicky Dreamboat. That's Madeline. And her husband is Alexi Suplexi.
Oh, this is great. And they run an improv theater.
Yes.
Good.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That is the most Florida thing I might have heard yet.
I don't think there's anything that could be more Florida than that. And oh, wait, I can amp it up. actually. Here's how they amp it up. They also have a side business where they are boat captains.
Fan boat? Like one of those big fan boats?
An airboat?
An airboat?
No, that would be better.
But still, they're going like marlin fishing or whatever.
And they're taking people on tours in a boat.
Yes. Wow, they got a lot of things going on.
A lot of Florida. Mm-hmm. They're also fantastic humans, as it happens. And I just adore them. They have a really sweet relationship too. Like he's really good at like just holding space for her. She's more emotional. He's more spacious, and he just like lets it be. But they have a ton of fun and they laugh a lot. And I don't know, they're great.
That's cool.
Anyway, we're at this bar. We all go, let's get out of here. Alex goes, I have to go to the bathroom. A couple seconds later, 20 minutes later, we're all like, where's Alex? It's been a while. Madeline's phone rings. Her face lights up. She goes, we have to get out of here. Alex got kicked out of the bar because he got in a fight. And we're all like, huh? We go outside. He's a block away. His eye is huge, swollen, black, bleeding down his face, blood, cut on the upper part of the eye, cut on the left part of the eye, cut here on the bottom part. Cuts all around the eye. Big egg on the back of his head. Not looking good. He tells us the story. He was in line to go to the bathroom. Sax guy got in line behind him. There was a woman who had cleavage showing in front of him, or maybe it was vice versa. And Sax guy started to sort of harass cleavage woman, talking about her boobs really loud, making fun of her, propositioning her, throwing things into her cleavage, like just being like a real
Jesus
D-bag. Alex is sort of tolerating it. Finally, he looks at the woman sort of as if to say, like, are you okay? And she looks back as if to say, no. And so Alex says to Sax guy, hey, so can you stop talking to her like that? It's really making her uncomfortable. Sax guy gets in Alex's face an inch away. Okay, short guy. Fuck you, short guy. Oh, you're going to take me down? Alex is like not incredibly tall. I don't think of him as short, but whatever. Alex loses his shit, spits in the guy's face.
Uh-huh.
The guy punches him in the eye. His head goes back, hits a brick wall. Alex, being a pro wrestler, wrestles the guy to the ground, is about to pummel him, and gets pulled off the guy by the bouncer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who says, you both have to leave or we're calling the police. And they left. So while he's telling us this story on the side of the road, Sax guy walks by, bragging loudly to his friends about having won this fight. Right? He's, I kicked his ass. So Madeline, the guy, Alex's wife, and this other improviser buddy of mine both hear this and start to get like, what'd you say? What'd you say? Like all aggro Florida vibes at him.
Yeah.
And I just turned into mother hen, and something took over and I just went, no. And I was like, we're not doing that. He's not going to learn a lesson. If you beat him up, you're just going to have bloody hands and somebody's going to jail. We have one injured person. We're going back to the hotel. Everybody over here. Focus over here. And I sort of like rerouted them like a sheepdog. And then we went back to the hotel and iced his face and talked about it and debated if he needed to go to the ER or not. And it was
Jesus.
I know. I haven't been a part of anything like that ever in my life. One time ever.
Wow. And also good job on the shift, the vibe shift.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. I mean, they were like, oh, really? Really? Is that what you think? And Madeline could fuck you up. Madeline could fuck any of us up. She was heading over to beat this guy up.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody's going to jail. We have to leave now.
Yeah.
I'm proud of them for listening because they could have easily been like, fuck off. We're doing this.
Yeah.
So.
What the fuck? Dude was still carrying a sax?
Yeah.
Like it was clipped around his neck?
Yep.
Well, I'm glad Alex didn't get hit by the sax.
I know. We've had a lot of jokes about like, we wish could have broken the sax over his head, shoved the sax in his ass. You know, just all the things.
Jesus.
I know, it's not wild.
That's the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I don't, it was wild. So then we hung out and there was a lot of drinking. I passed out at 11:30. They all like stayed up till 4. I don't know what they did. It doesn't matter. The next day was Thanksgiving. They all came back to my house along with a bunch of other people. We had 15 people here that we cooked for. Oh,
and then you guys hosted Thanksgiving with your folks.
We did. Super fun. Not with my folks.
No, I mean your people.
Our peeps. Yep. And Sarah cooked up a fucking meal. Holy shit. And all her friends were like helping. It was a serious undertaking. I was like, I'll buy stuff. What do you need? I'll take another trip to the store.
Nice.
I was that lady. And then that was like a lot of like fun-timey, debauchery, feelings, up, down, talky, social, extroverting. I spend a lot of time alone. So this was like a lot of like, just a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's like the beginning of the last few days. Then we did 4 shows. That was Thursday. Then Friday, 2 shows. Saturday, 2 shows. Tonight, we have a show.
My God, you're performing like a motherfucker. That's amazing. I'm envious of that.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
It's been fun, except that by this, I would even say first show Saturday night, you could feel in the room, we were all just like, okay, comedy jokes. Here we go. Making funny, everybody's tired.
But you guys are also like filling the house 5 shows a week.
Well, it varies.
Yeah.
The 7:30 last night had, I would say, 35, 40 people. And the 10 o'clock had 12 people.
Yeah.
And then the night before was a little more even, per whatever. But like those late night ones are harder to fill, blah, blah. But they've been open less than 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they have this much of a following and it's going this well, I'm very impressed with them. They're killing it.
That's great.
Anyway, so that's the beginning of some of why I'm emotionally tired. The particular tired you have from just the emotional fatigue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just a lot of output, a lot of energy. And you just get to that place where you're just like, I need to do nothing.
Taxed.
For a little minute.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I have felt that. I'm not feeling that currently, but and you just want to watch TV, or even that can be too much sometimes when you reach a certain point. Like, this is making me feeling. I don't want to feel anymore.
Yeah, shut it all down. Yeah, exactly. So tell us a little bit about what auditions you had or have, or what's up with that.
I mean, the good part is like a month ago, like I was looking at all these seasons and all these things, and I was just had that feeling of like, well, there's nothing for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me. There's nothing for me to even consider anywhere ever again.
Right.
That feeling.
Right. 1,000,000%.
And then like I found this audition. This one was sent to me. This one was out of nowhere, just asked for me. Berkeley rep just reached directly to me and asked for an audition. And I asked for an invitation to an ACT audition and got it. They were like, absolutely, we'd love to see you. Didn't get the ACT thing. Probably didn't get the Berkeley rep thing. Don't know for sure on that one. But meanwhile, I'm still on hold for these other 2 shows. Did I ask for both? I asked for both of these, but then they I reached out and said, hey, can I audition for this? But now I'm on hold with them.
What theaters can you say, or would you rather not?
Yeah, whatever. Aurora, Center Rep are a couple of them. I'm today doing a callback recording for Colorado Shakes. So
ooh,
that would be fun to spend the summer in Denver or Boulder. So that would be fun. A few shows. I'll travel to Boulder, spend a summer in Denver, Southwest.
Yeah.
I got some family out there. I got some friends in that area. So
we have our buddy Sydney, who's doing like van life, who's sort of halfway between.
She might be there at that point. No, she'll probably be back. I don't know.
I'm so impressed with what she's doing. She's doing like millennial van life, live in the van, to go down to.
She's a guest lecturer at a university in like Indiana right now, like teaching commedia and physical and.
There you go. Movement. And then she's up in Colorado sometimes with her family. And then she's in California sometimes doing shows. She's killing it.
Yeah, but that's all just feeling very manageable. But, there was a minute where I was like, I have all these deadlines and all these auditions, and it was stressing me out. And now I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I got to record this thing today, but it's easy and it'll be fun. And if I get it, great. If I don't, then it wasn't meant to be, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, part of it was like suddenly seeing that there are possibilities was actually almost more than the actual getting a gig or not.
Totally get that.
Yeah. I was starting to feel like, oh, I'll never work again. No one wants me. Like I got into that headspace just for about 10 minutes, but
it happens.
That's the thing. Just the idea of like, I'm trying to remember that headspaces are temporary.
Ugh, totally. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I had to remind Denise about that the other day where, she was having some stuff going on, and and we just sat with it. And I just had to remind her, like, I have known you long enough that this is real and it's not untrue what you're feeling or thinking. It is 100% true. And also it's not, you know, that idea that like, it's not a lie. You're not lying to yourself and you're like, oh, this is happening and that means this. And I'll never, whatever. But also I've seen you see this from the other side.
Yeah.
And then when I tell someone else that, I have to remember it for myself too. That idea of like,
totally.
It's like the feelings you're having aren't untrue. They're real, but they aren't as overwhelming as you think they are, or all encompassing.
Or you could frame it like they're here now, but they're going to pass, like the weather.
Right.
You know?
You might have to work through them and do the work to get to that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But that whole just this too shall pass or it gets better idea is actually...
It's true.
Boy, when you are in it, it's it. That's all that's happening.
I mean, this is like addiction recovery 101. This too shall pass. It's like the first thing you get in the 12 steps because addicts in recovery are people who have been literally medicating their feelings hard their whole lives and then stop all of a sudden and then feel everything and then think they're going to die from it.
Yeah.
Literally die. So there's all these aphorisms that help you get through, one of which being this too shall pass. I also like feelings aren't facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. They come, they go.
But they're also not lies. Like that's what I
know.
They aren't facts, but they are a factor. Like,
right.
They matter. They totally matter. And and I think why I brought up Denise was like, not to talk about her, what she was going through, but that sometimes when you are sitting with someone else's stuff, it's a really good reminder for yourself. Like, oh yeah, that's also, hey, remember that thing you said last week to help that person through that thing? Don't forget about you.
Okay, I have a question. This makes me think of a thing. I was asking, speaking of Alex and Madeline, I asked them this jokingly, but then seriously earlier this morning in a voice memo. What would be your thought on this? How do you explain, or like, what makes it doable for you, easy, worth doing, to stay with, sit with, work through the feelings of a woman you're with? Because you know how like there's a lot of like people you wouldn't want to sit around and have their feelings with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, let's sit with this. But you do it for your lady.
Yeah. You do it for your partner.
So why?
What do you mean? How do you do it?
No.
What makes it doable? What's the question?
Yeah, what makes that doable? Why are you willing to do that for her?
Well, yeah, and I can compare it to other relationships too. Like there are some relationships where I've been willing to do it, but it was a constant chore.
Right.
And at a certain point, you actually have to start questioning, wait, am I just doing this out of duty because I have to? And is it actually worth it? So I can speak to like the relationship I'm in and other good relationships I've had where what makes it bearable? Well, part of it is not being able to not take it on or think it is my responsibility to repair, but only to be present to.
Yeah.
And that is not an easy place to get to. You have to trust, A, that it will pass.
Yeah.
That it's not a constant state.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, and B, that it is actually not my fault what's going on.
Right. But what makes you willing? I know all that. What makes you willing to do that work with her as opposed to, say, a straight, like, why?
Oh, price of admission.
Which is boob, butt cheek, vagina.
Exactly. And also just the relationship. Like, same with a friend. Like, it's not always boob, butt cheek, but it is often. Labia. But, like, yeah, I'd be willing to be there with you.
Yeah.
And I have seen none of your boobs.
That's true. Not any of them.
None of them.
None of them.
None of them.
Of any five.
Not even a nip slip.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. I've not seen your butt. We haven't gone to like a naked hot tub together. I've seen other friends' boobs and nips.
I believe it.
We have none of that. But I love you, and I would, up to a point. Obviously, everything's up to a point.
Yeah.
But even then, I'd have to remind myself that this is not mine and I don't have to solve this and I can just here to hold space for whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah.
Because I love you. But the price of it, it's the price of admission to a friendship. And that price of admission gets too high at a certain point. It's like a cost benefit analysis. Same for me. Somebody's going to be like, I don't want to do you anymore. And I've had friends where I was like, I can't anymore. Does that even answer it? It's kind of a boring answer. Just the price of admission is the best way to put it for me.
No, that makes total sense. It makes a ton of sense. I'm just interested to hear because as a woman who A is a female human and B has emotional definition in my solar plexus, meaning I'm going to be the one feeling the feelings and talking about the feelings in the room and expressing them even when I don't want to be. They're going to be emanating out of me in a way you can't avoid. Because I'm that way, that is hard for me when other people are that way. So because there's two of us now, and it's not that I can't do it. It's just, it's a lot. Sometimes it's a lot, except for when it's not. This is kind of what I'm getting at. I guess it's like this. There are people where you're just willing to do it. You just like them more than other people. And then there are people where you're just like not fucking willing to do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a mystery in a way. What is it? Why? Because we love them is the answer, or because we have a vibe, or because we connect, or like I had a friend up in New York who used to say like, I'm sorry, I'm such a mess all the time. And I was like, you're easy to love. And their response was like, that's not how everybody feels. And I was like, my response to that was like human design, because when you understand the mechanics, like mechanics do what mechanics do. So somebody comes into your aura, all of a sudden you like them or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's just the mechanics of the auric fields operating with each other. So with her, that particular friend, it was easy for me. She could have talked about her shit all day. I was just like so there for it.
Yeah, that's so interesting that there are people who can complain all the time or whatever, and I'm okay with it. And then there are other people where I'm like, fuck you, energy vampire, get away from me.
Stop talking. Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care.
I can't care.
And I hope that you have someone else who can care, because my generic compassion kicks in and says, you need someone to listen to you. And I respect that. But my true compassion just goes, oh, wow, I'm not listening to what you just said at all.
Right. I want to care, but I don't care. But the mechanics thing, I just love it so much. Like every time with you, I've been thinking about, it's been helpful for me I'll pull up your chart from time to time and be like, right, he has those manifestor channels from the blah, blah to the throat. And that's when and it helps me be like, that's just his design. He's going to say his words in a very willful way. And I'm going to have to sometimes wait. And that is not about me.
Yeah.
That's him just being the field that he is. And then I look at my chart and go like, okay, right. I'm going to be very always because I that. And that's not about anyone. That's just what my mechanics do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It like depersonalizes everything.
Yeah.
But still, just for the listener, we get to make choices about, are the mechanics worth it to me?
Right.
Like you said, is the price of admission worth?
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah, there it is.
It's a phrase that's been coming up a lot lately for some reason.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Let me tell you the first rule of politics. Always know if the juice is worth the squeeze. You know what that means? It means you don't steal my girl unless you're ready to accept the consequences.
It's kind of like the whole thing of life.
And you just got to decide. It's okay if it isn't, and it's okay if it is. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to have to work for this one. This one's going to be a little bit more of a...
Right.
But it's worth it. And sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
But having the compassion for the things that are core up to a point. Like, the same thing goes with Enneagram, where it's like, oh, yeah, Jesus, 7. Okay, 7.
Mm-hmm. Tone it down, 7.
Rather than, why are you so bossy? Mm-hmm. Which has me like resisting, because I don't like it when people are bossy, blah, blah, blah. But if I can zoom out just a little bit and go, all right, 8. Okay. Wow, that's a lot of 8 behavior. Is this 8 behavior acceptable to me? Is the price of admission
worth it? Yeah.
Then it is.
Yeah.
With you, it is. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I had that happen this week with a 4, where I went, oh, this is a 4. Oh, and like before that moment of realizing they were a 4, I was like, I hate this person. I want to push them off a cliff. Like oh, your feelings are so different and unique and nobody understands you. And you're the only one who's ever, and look how unique your art is. I get it. You're very special with your special, unique feelings and art.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it's the definition of a 4.
Right. And what if you just said that same series of words without the sarcasm?
Right.
Oh, look at you. Your feelings are very special and you're unique. And
exactly.
And you see things differently than no one can possibly understand you.
That's my point, is like the label of 4 takes me to that space. I go, oh, this is how this person is built.
Yeah.
And to a certain degree, it would be nice if they were a little more aware of it so they could make some choices that have some awareness in them.
Yep.
But they don't. So the best we could do is this is what this is. It's kind of like if a lion is charging you in the Serengeti.
Okay.
You don't go, why is it doing that? You go, it's a lion. I better behave appropriately.
Yeah.
Like, get out of the fucking desert.
Yeah.
Get in your little truck and drive away. Because it's a lion. You don't go like, fucking lion. Although you would, because you'd be like, I don't want to die.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be angry at the lion necessarily. You'd be afraid of it. You might take action, but you wouldn't like be, how dare that lion
Right.
attack me?
Right.
That lion has no business attacking me.
Funny though, as an 8, I would have that reaction initially.
Fair enough.
I'd be like, this fucking lion. Fuck you, lion. Oh, you're so strong and powerful. I get it. The rest of us don't matter. Rami said something brilliant the other day. We were talking and they said they were describing this whole situation with some people in their life, and there was a bunch of voice memos describing it. At the end, they were like, and you know, as a 9, my orientation being like, keep the connection alive above all else. I literally, the entire way I was hearing the story changed after hearing 8 voice memos and getting to the one where they said, and as a 9, my priority is keep the connection alive. I went, oh my God, right.
Right. Now I understand everything you've just said and why it is happening that way.
Correct. Like, I have such a different orientation as a self-pres 8 who's like, I go away, stay here. I don't care as long as I'm good.
As long as I'm okay. I don't know you shit.
And like, and I don't, but I do. I mean, that doesn't mean, that can sound very cold-hearted, but it doesn't mean there aren't people who I like very much care about how they feel and want the connection to stay real. But it isn't my MO for all connection. But that is like the underlying Rami MO that shows up first. And of course, Rami is a very aware person who can then be like, oh, I see that this is occurring, and maybe make a different choice or lean in or lean, whatever. Ugh.
Oh, the life.
God, being a human is so
complicated.
Weird. Yes, and complicated.
What's up, everybody? Rami here. I missed last week. I missed it because I had nothing to say. And I know that there are no actual rules in this little audio niblet, that I don't have to say anything important. The only assignment is to say something. And I couldn't even really manage that last week. And so far this week, it's just a little meta experience about me talking about talking. But that's what's up. Rami's rules.
Which brings me to what we were going to talk about today.
Great.
Which is, so I have this new, and in telling you about it, I'll tell the people about it. I have this new thing I'm going to launch, which it exists. It's on the website, and I'm going to do some formal talking about it on the internet and stuff. It's a subscription thing where you can pay $99 a month to get automatically in your email inbox every month, kind of a private healing, reading, channeled teaching for only the people in the subscription group. So something, I kept seeing this in the Akashic Records when I'm in that space. Like, they want a kind of like, the word is like there's this idea, I've probably talked about this on here about, and I'm sure you've seen this in like theater and other places, but that different groups form for very specific reasons. Like anyone who shows up to Star Beings class, that group is there together in that class for a reason.
Gotcha.
Similarly, every class I've ever done, like I led a 2-hour healing on Saturday, and that group was a particular group that could receive these particular things in this particular day at this particular time. It's very cool to see when you can kind of see it from the other side. Anyway, there's this awareness of a subscriber-based group. Like anybody who wants every month a healing for them, a 3-card spread or maybe a 5-card spread and some teachings like tailored just for them. And I think it might actually end up being twice a month. Like I might bookend the month for people, but I want it to be a specific group of people who are willing to have $99 leave their account every month automatically, because that's a certain level of commitment to your journey. So whoever that group is, there's specific information for them. Whereas the people who are paying $475 to come to the 5-week class, that's a different kind of commitment.
Right.
And they need what they need. So anyway, it's been coming through as a thing to do, and I'm excited about it. It's a new thing I want to launch. So when we were talking about getting together today, I was saying like, hey, I could talk about that and we could kind of show what that is. And then as I was saying that to you, I realized, well, it's kind of what we do here anyway.
It really is, but it's maybe a less focused. It's a little more
broad,
open, broad, and and it would just be more tailored. And that would be the buy-in is that, yeah, it's a different type of commitment. And it says, I choose to be in this pool. Yeah. Putting you in a different sorting cup.
Yeah. And it won't be like here where we have a guest and you're hearing other people. This is about you.
Right.
Like that's what I want it to be.
And it's also committed, because even for us, we don't always do that. We do it for an individual. Sometimes we do it for a group. Sometimes, it's a little more chaotic.
That's right. So like this would be like you yourself want for you a reading, a healing. That's the part too that like I don't give healings away, Yeah. A reading, a healing, and channeled info about what's going on. I just got this. I think it needs to bookend the month. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be 2 emails with 2 videos, one at the beginning of each month and one at the end of each month, being like, here's what's coming. And here's how to frame what just happened. Cool. Oof. I like that.
Love it.
That's exciting. Anyway, that's what that is.
Okay. Sounds good.
It's a new product on the old KatieRubin.com.
Well, do you want to do a mini version of it just as a pitch?
Yeah, absolutely. Then what I should do is pee.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think what we'll do for this is we're going to channel a reading. I'm going to do a 3-card spread for the podcast listeners and a healing. Fun.
Cool.
But we're going to do this in half an hour.
Sure. Sounds great. I'll keep an eye on it and sort of ping you for the 12/20.
Okay. And they want this deck. So we're going to do the Akashic Tarot deck by Sharon Ann Klinger and Sandra Ann Taylor, whose names rhyme. This is the complex deck that gives deeper, more specific, tailored readings, which I really am enjoying lately. I have to tell you about one running gag I have with Alex and Madeline that I don't know if I've told you about this, but our current running bit is different. Like we'll be talking about some serious thing. We'll be talking about like, okay, do you want to do the stand-up class on Saturdays or Sundays? Or do you want to do we're talking business, right? And then at the end of it, one of us will pick a type of character and then come as that character. So the other day, back to back, Alex did Gargamel from the Smurfs coming, which I laughed a long, long time. And wait, it was Gargamel? Oh no, I can't remember it. Anyway, so then whenever he does it, it inspires me to make requests. So I'll be like, depending on whatever I'm saying or doing at the time. Like I was making fun of my own Jewishness. And I said, okay, 2 older Jews coming at the same time, men sitting on a bench. Anyway, that's all. So they run through my head all the time now, like characters.
Coming in character.
Yeah, we did Britney Spears. We did.
Did she say, I did it again?
Probably. Oh, today I did one. A hangry, emotionally hungover, tired, sad, horny lady.
Oh, so you?
Yeah, me. All right. So anyway, this deck is the deck we're going to use. And let's get into the records of the people. All right. Mappity-boo. Making sure things are in the right place. Okay, so we'll close our eyes. And all of you, anybody listening, to benefit maximally, it'd be great for you to go through the meditation, do a short little meditation here, to drop in, connect. So we'll take a few breaths into the low belly. Consciously sending oxygen to the pelvic floor, filling the low belly, letting the belly button come away from the spine as we fill the low belly with air, and letting the belly button come back toward the spine as we release or exhale air. And as we breathe into the low belly, just consciously choosing and allowing to relax the muscles of the low belly so that we can receive more deeply. We sometimes think of, if I'm inhaling into the low belly, it's like I'm making it tight, but really there's a kind of softening and opening that allows the low belly to expand. And as we do that breath, we'll feel into the bottoms of our feet, becoming aware of the bottom of each toe, the balls of the feet, the arches of the feet, the heels of the feet. Just becoming aware of all of that. And we'll see at the bottoms of our feet now a little spinning foot chakra, spinning open, like a tornado or a hurricane of light that spins open and gets wider and wider as it spins. Wider and wider and wider and wider. Until eventually the entire surface area of the bottom of each of our feet is just an open window, an open plane of energy. And we'll just acknowledge as a collective here, all the listeners, all the Answers podcast listeners, that the opening of these foot chakras allows the electromagnetic field of the earth, or you could say the aura of the earth, to communicate more directly with the aura or the electromagnetic field of each of our bodies. One way to think about this is I like to imagine that the aura of the earth is hundreds of feet and miles, hundreds of miles off the edge of the earth. It expands in every direction. And as we become aware of it, we become aware of the fact that it is absorbing us or enveloping our bodies all the time. And if you imagine yourself out in space, looking down at the earth, thinking of how big she is and how big the aura must be, think about how teeny tiny your body is sitting atop her, and therefore how easy it is for her aura to envelop you. Specifically now that those foot chakras are open. And as we allow that image to be real, we'll just visualize 500 tree roots of light extending through the open window and the bottom of each foot. 500 tree roots extending through the left foot down and into the earth. And 500 tree roots extending through the open window of the right foot down and into the earth. So that 1,000 roots of light are anchored down and in and down and in. Really see these roots made of light and earthing themselves, hooking themselves into the nooks and crannies and crevices of the physical planet on an energetic level. And as those roots extend down and in and left and right and forward and back, just see yourself above from the feet up as a wide sequoia tree of light. So wide left and right and so deep forward and back that you can't even see your own edges. You know that you are an ever expansive, huge tree of conscious awareness that grows infinitely tall and has so many lush, thick branches and leaves growing off, extending from the top of itself. And we understand that the branches and leaves are reaching into the cosmos and receiving awareness, receiving divine light and pulling it in to the tree. The deeper the roots anchor into the earth, the taller and wider the tree of awareness can be. And the more we can each receive And so we do acknowledge the forces of light, asking for guidance, direction, and courage to know the truth, as it is revealed for our highest good and the highest good of everyone connected to us. Holy Spirit of God, protect me, please, from all forms of self-centeredness. Direct my attention to the work at hand. Help me to know all the Answers podcast listeners in the light of the Akashic Records. Help me to see all the Answers podcast listeners through the eyes of the Lords of the Records. And enable me, please, to share the wisdom and compassion that the masters, teachers, and loved ones of all the Answers podcast listeners have for all the Answers podcast listeners, every last one of them. And I'll go quiet for just a moment. Right, and as we deepen into the Akashic Records of the entire group, of all of our listeners, first things first, as I'm aware of some stuff in the throat and in the brainstem, I'm going to go ahead and ask that we begin with a clearing for every bit of pent-up emotional energy, unprocessed emotional energy, unexpressed thoughts and feelings trapped in the throat and or the brainstem. So if you're listening now, if you could just feel into your throat or your brainstem and everything going on there. That might feel tight or constricted, foggy, fuzzy, pokey, sharp, cloudy, hazy, heavy, dark. We're just asking that all of that be met now with the light of conscious awareness and divine love. So again, if you're listening, please stay connected to whatever's happening in your throat or brainstem, aka the back of your throat, the back of your neck. And so we're calling up now into conscious awareness any and all unprocessed emotional trauma for all the listeners of the All the Answers podcast that's ready to process now in a way that each person listening can handle with ease. And this connects down now into the womb space or pelvic floor, and is connected energetically all the way up through the midline of the body, through the central channel, and through the spinal column nervous system into the brainstem. Any and all unprocessed emotional energy from trauma of any kind at any time, across all levels of time, dimension, space, and reality. We call it all up now for the sake of everyone of our podcast listeners. Everything buried, hidden, unsighted, unseen, cloaked, veiled. We ask that it be brought to the light of consciousness now, processed, released, integrated, cleared. All you need to do as a listener is just feel into what you're noticing anywhere through the central channel, first, second chakra area, pelvic floor, womb space, the low back, the neck, the spinal column, the heart, the throat, anywhere there's anything for you that feels less than loose and light and free and open. All right. We're asking now for all those places and spaces to be filled, cleared, released. All the places that were released, opened, kicked open, begun to dissipate, that they be filled in with the highest and best divine light, Allah, and Akashic blueprinting that each of our listeners can now hold. Okay. All right. And so as I start to, we're going to let that integrate for a moment. And as I'm shuffling the deck here, I'm asking consciousness, God itself, to show us a 3-card spread, the past, the present, and the future, for that will benefit all the answers listeners, and those specifically hearing this on this coming Saturday, the 3rd of December, 2022. What's going to benefit them at that time, exactly at the time that they need it, and exactly at the time that each of our listeners hear it. What's been happening for them in the recent past? What's happening for them today on the 3rd, or whenever they're hearing this? And what's coming around the bend? What's coming around the corner? Okay. And once again, this is the Akashic Tarot Guidebook. Beautiful card. The Waterfall in the recent past. Will, Wisdom, and Mind in the present moment. And the outcome is the Fated Meeting. Okay, I'm tripping out a second. I need to sit here for a second because I'm tripping out. I need to check in on something. Is this a reading for me? No. Truth, God, conscious awareness. You promise? Huh. This is almost exactly the spread I had yesterday when I asked a specific question for myself, and I just shuffled a ton. Is this a reading for the listeners and me? Yeah. Wow. We're so connected. Everything is one thing. I sound like a stoner, but it's true. All right, here we go. And this is for Cassidy as well. Okay, great. So in the recent past, I think what I'll do when I do this as the subscription is you'll have pictures of the cards and you'll get a picture of the description of each card along with my interpretation that will be channeled. All right, the recent past, we have this. Look at how beautiful that is. The Waterfall card.
Nice.
The present moment is Will, Wisdom, and Mind. Nice balance energy card. And the outcome is the Fated Meeting.
Oh, very romantic.
Very romantic. All right, let's see what this is all about. I don't have my glasses. Oh, well. The 6 of Forces. Not to be confused with the 6 of Horses. Okay, 6 of Forces. In the recent past, 6 of Forces is the Waterfall card, and what we have there is the following. A towering waterfall roars down into a beautiful body of water. In the upright position, this card reminds you of your incredible personal power and supports you in opening up to the force within. Know that you are a dynamo in the universe. You have the ability to shape any situation in a way that honors you and moves your life forward. The element of water is fluid, like the waterfall. Your personal energy never stops. Your life force is never ending. It springs from your eternal past and roars into your limitless future, extending into the farthest reaches of the universe. It is a time of deep thought and even deeper emotions, as well as an expansion of psychic energy. Use this time to act on these and tap your power that is ever flowing. So in the recent past, we have encouragement to tap into our strength and our power. You are a dynamo in the universe. You have the ability to shape any situation in a way that honors you and moves your life forward. This is somewhere in our recent past. In the present moment, we come to the Will, Wisdom, and Mind card, number 20 in this deck. Looks like this. A gold crown of power, here we are with power again, and authority rests above a Celtic trinity knot. On the other side of the Celtic knot are the alchemical symbols for fire and water. Below is the ancient three-legged symbol of the coat of arms from the Isle of Man. This card brings with it a time of enormous power, balance, and expression. The first 3 rays, or the energies of the divine, move within you equally. Power, and will, love and wisdom, intellect or mind. Power and will, love and wisdom, and intellect or mind. You are working intimately, even if you're not conscious of it, with the ascended masters who are linked to these energies. With the participation of the masters, you can raise your focus to a higher power and purpose. You can combine the fire of creativity with the water of receptivity in order to make your contribution to the world. With the gold crown raised high, you're likely to find yourself in a significant position of authority and influence at this time. It is likely to be a phase of great activity, but you can handle it. With these powers in play, you're able to discipline yourself to bring together the meditation, creativity, rest, and action required. Take advantage of this time and use these powers well. They are nothing less than the divine forces moving through you so that you can manifest their power in the world. What I get for everybody here is it's going to be an intense time and you're up for it. It's likely to be a phase of great activity, but you can handle it because of this beautiful balance of power, love, and intellect, will, wisdom, and mind. That we're being reminded we have the awareness and the insight and the wisdom to know when to do, when to create, when to rest. Amen. Okay. And the outcome is this beautiful fated meeting. I don't know if you feel like describing that at all, Cass.
It's like two people who are dressed almost like wedding outfits in a square, like a London square or an Italian square with a clock and a beautiful building. And then they're approaching each other as though, oh, you're here.
Yeah, that's cool. Good description. A clock tower stands with its hands pointing to just a few minutes before 12. A man and a woman approach each other, coming to meet at the time that was predetermined by their higher selves, who are shown above them.
Ah, yes.
Translucent and shining. With this card, you are coming to a very important relationship in your life. Either it is entirely new, or an existing relationship is being lifted to a much higher experience. Karma from past lives may have brought you together, so it's important for both of you to stay alert. Keep your individual and collective growth a priority, and act with deference and compassion to yourselves and each other. If you both honor your karmic course, this could be one of the highest relationships you can know. This card can also show a fated meeting with another about a work situation, a creative project, or an important purpose that you hold. This too is likely karmic. Perhaps it's a past life publisher, a spiritual teacher, a brother, or a sister. Whoever this is, it's a powerful and promising relationship, so get ready. It's almost time. I'm going to make a request right now. I would love to hear from any of you listening about any bits of this reading that resonate for you. How did this come to fruition? Was there a fated meeting for you? Did a special person show up? Are you in the midst of a lot of things that you sometimes think you can't handle, but it turns out you can? Have you been reminded of your strength in the recent past? I mean, this reads so deeply for me. That's why I was tripped out at the beginning. Like, this is just right in my life right here. And then as I've been reading the words and staying connected to the records, it's like I have this talk about, let's see, I tend to totally forget my interconnectedness to all things. I always operate like this solo being, just making my way on a raft down the river of life. And regularly, there's other deck that I pull from. There's a card called the Magic Stream that is always coming up in my spreads and for myself. And it's this card that talks about you keep forgetting you're part of the vast field of everything. You're connected to everyone you're connected to. It's not you and then them. Oneness is real. Anyway, as I'm sitting with this, I'm just going like, am I just like getting a reading for myself and this isn't relevant for people? But I get a huge no. And the response I get is, no, you're actually that connected to the people listening. You're all on similar trajectories in your reality. The details are totally different. The context is totally different. The challenges are totally different. But it's like floating on different rafts down the same river, wearing different outfits with different histories, headed different places. Anyway, that's very cool for me to feel that in my body because, again, I experienced so much individuation and separateness because of all the fixation in my design, frankly. Anyway, so there's that. Anything from you? How does this resonate for you, Cass, this reading?
I'm not getting any immediate hits, I'll be honest, about like how it would apply to me.
I already have some for you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, sometimes they land and sometimes it feels like I but then I also am aware that like I need to feel more than think anyway. So like the brain might try and construct a narrative around that. It might just be the brain going, well, it could be this one thing.
Oh, uh-huh.
Although I'm not thinking of anything right now. So
yeah, I hear that.
What do you got? Do you want to just shoot them at me?
Well, I mean, even just what you said before about auditions and stuff and so on. It's like you've been caught. You had to step into your strength. You were given a bunch of strength. You had to step into it. Sometimes you think you can't handle it, but you can. And then I don't know the fated meeting part. That's like not here yet. So I wonder.
Some relationship is going to create or deepen. Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah.
Might be.
And that's why I'm asking like folks to write in or say stuff to us about this, because that's such a predictive, specific 3D suggestion, that card, the outcome card, that like, boy, do I want to hear how this plays out for people.
Right. Who's having a fated meeting in the next 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah. Remind me, I have an email about a previous 3-card spread that we can address on the next episode.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Someone has deeper questions about a specific spread that came up. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. So. Oh,
and that reminds me too, we had an email from someone who is buying a gift for their friend. And the gift is, we're going to do a reading just for their friend. So the whole episode will be like, the friend is our guest.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. That one must have gone straight to you.
It went straight to me. The friend will be our guest, but they won't be on the podcast. They're going to send questions ahead of time.
Okay.
And this person is buying that as a gift for them. And so I want the listener to know you too could buy that as a gift for a friend of yours, or you could buy it for yourself. Think of it as like you're paying for a healing session and a reading, but just with us here on the podcast. And you could either come on live and be on Zoom with us, or you can just send your questions and we can do it that way.
We also have that a function of a similar but smaller version of that as part of the Patreon. If you want to join our Patreon, you can get into that. We do those more in bulk rather than like a big full episode dedicated to it. But which we should probably hit our current Patreon people up again and say, all right, it's time for another round of Patreon questions.
That's true. That's a good idea. Yeah. So remember, you can pay a bit more money and have it be all about you, or you can pay less money and be a part of a pool of questions.
Yeah.
If you want to do the all about you, just email me, Katie, at klrubin, K as in kiss, L as in love, RUBIN @gmail.com, or email us at
allanswerspod @gmail.com.
Yeah. And if you'd like to do the Patreon thing, just go to patreon.com and look for all the answers, and you can pick your little button of which one you'd like to pick. Cool. All right. Let me just check and make sure. Is there anything else for the people? Nope. That's plenty. This one feels very interesting and exciting to me. I want to hear. I really hope some of you guys will email us and tell us how this goes, because I could use a little encouragement that this is resonating for other people. Because it's so for me that I'm like, all right, show me who's got what. Let's hear it. All right, I'm going to close the records. I want to thank the masters, teachers, and loved ones for their love and compassion, the lords of the records for their point of view, and the Holy Spirit of light for all knowledge and healing. I ask that you return everybody, all the Answers podcast listeners, energy to themselves now, please. I ask that you return all of our podcast listeners to their complete human wholeness now. The divine portal and the Akashic Records of everybody who listens to our podcast are now closed. Amen. The divine portal and the Akashic Records of everyone who listens to our podcast are now closed. Amen. The divine portal and the Akashic Records of everyone who listens to our podcast are now closed. Amen, amen, amen. Amen. Whew. It's funny. Do you remember we did a something recently where I was like, oh, I got to get out of the records of our listeners. It was like a lot.
Yeah.
I just had that in a different way just now where I closed the record there and I was like, phew, it's a lot lighter over here, which gave me a lot of perspective on my current challenges. And that's not to say like our listeners are crazy and fucked up. It's to say holding 1,000 people's energy is a lot more to do than holding, or 500, whatever it is, than it is to just be with myself. And it just gave me some gratitude for like, you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You're doing okay. You're just one lady.
Yeah. You're not 1,000 people. We did it.
We did it.
I wanted to share only because it just came up in my soul that when we said goodbye, I was going to tell you that I had to pee before I left. But then that we had a conversation in the car on the way home because we both had to pee about how to say, yo, I really got to piss in Spanish, and like how you would say that, you know, properly versus, you know, because my Spanish is terrible. And even Carolina, who, you know, is fluent, it's her other language, was like, actually, I'm not sure how to say it. So she had to do research to get proper. So we came up with, ay Dios, tengo unos ganas de mear como caballo de carreras, like a racehorse. So that is my parting phrase that I wanted to share with you.
Delightful. I could actually say that in a couple different ways in Spanish.
Oh, yeah? How would you say it?
Tengo que orinar.
Orinar came up, yeah. To urinate, more proper.
Exactly. Or quiero irme al baño.
I got to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Or me voy al baño, me voy a orinar. Eso es lo que tengo. That's all I have.
And also peace is also an option.
Peace. Claro que peace.
Claro
que peace. Okay, everybody have good peace, and we loved you.
Yeah, so you have your Miami Spanish.
Sí.
Which is more Cuban,
Sí,
probably.
sí.
Yeah,
Sí,
and she's got the more
muchísimo.
like Colombian and Mexican Spanish.
Qué bueno. Qué horror. Qué lástima.
Wait, not Colombian. Damn it. Is it? Shit, whatever. I'll get
Ciao,
it right.
ciao.
We'll find out. Ciao, ciao. Love you. Do your work. Do your work.
Que haga su trabajo.
Trabajo.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Are you asking for all of the answers? Say what? All of the answers? Yeah, all the answers.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. We'd love to hear from you. Please email us with your questions so that we have questions to answer in the Akashic Records. Our email address is allanswerspod@gmail.com. That's allanswerspod@gmail.com. And if you'd like to find us on Facebook or Twitter, it's @allanswerspod, @allanswerspod. Thank you.
Or not at all interesting. You know what?
Yeah, in no way interesting to anyone.
Anyway, jumping back to tie this little moment up with a bow.
Mixed and edited by Desmond McNeese for We Mixed It, LLC. Go to whatsoundsawesome.com.
My own brother, a goddamn shit-sucking vampire. Oh, you wait till Mom finds out, buddy.